Start with the interview. Hey everybody, how's it going? Hey, we're back with another episode of the GD1A Sports podcast. We've had a lot of games this week, especially here in Tabiona. We had a game every night this week between junior high and high school, so it's been a really busy week. There's some big important games that were played, so we'll be going over all of that. But to start, as you can see, we have a special guest with us today. First time we've done this. This is our 7th episode.
7th episode, yeah.
I haven't felt nervous at all, but for some reason, seeing someone else on the screen, my heart feels like it's going to jump out of my chest. So, with that being said, our guest today is AJ Van Dyke from the Wayne Lady Badgers. And AJ, we want to thank you for joining us. We're just going to go over a few questions and kind of just learn a little bit about you. So,
yeah, having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything's good on your end. You can hear us okay?
Yep, you're all good.
All right. Well, so when we decided to do this, I don't know about Fredali, but me, it was kind of hard to think. I knew what I wanted to ask, but as soon as I sat down to do it, it was kind of drawing blanks, and I wasn't quite sure. But the first one that I think where we can start with is just where and how did all of this start? Basketball for you, you know, like what age? And I was told that your family not originally, but at one time lived in Roosevelt. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, we lived there till I was about in 4th grade. So my sisters were playing junior high, but they were just in junior high before we moved. So, yep, we lived up there. I played junior jazz, started about 2nd grade, 3rd grade. So, yep, I played junior jazz up there. That's where it kind of started.
So pretty typical age for somebody that's still playing in high school, starting about that same age.
Yep.
The guy up here that I coached the junior high girls with, he actually was confused because at first he thought it was you. But then once he thought about it, he's like, well, that time frame doesn't really add up. So you have 1 or 2 older sisters?
I have 2. So there's a 1-year age difference between them. So Andy graduated in 2023 and Allie graduated in... No, Andy graduated in 2023, and Allie's a year older.
Okay.
So they both were on the junior high team up there. My dad had a lot to do with their team. They played a lot of games.
Was he the coach?
I think he did help with their junior high team.
Okay, cool. So you played junior jazz there, and then when you moved to Wayne, that would have been 5th grade starting for you?
Yep, starting 4th grade.
Starting 4th grade. Okay, so does Wayne have like a junior high program they do down there?
They really just start like 5th, and then they'll sometimes have to combine 5th and 6th graders. But yeah, mainly just the middle school, junior high. So yeah, I started playing with them 5th grade probably. So I kind of had a year. 4th grade I didn't play, and then 5th grade you got to play with the 6th graders. Gotcha.
So this group of girls that you're playing with now, have you been playing with that same bunch since that time?
Yep. The girls below me, it's kind of fun because I got to play with both. Because there's actually more juniors, but they just got to high school and went a different route. But yeah, I always got to play up with our seniors. Now I played a lot with them, and then obviously my grade and the grade below us when I was in 8th grade, we needed some more girls, so I got to play with them. Those are sophomores as well.
That's good. Cool. That's awesome, and that's to be able to play with the same bunch for the most part. Growing up helps a bunch because once you get to high school, you already have that chemistry and know how to work together. So, which we have noticed that you guys do have really good chemistry. I've only been able to watch you guys play twice. I watched the last little bit of when you played Tabby down there in Wayne. And what other game did we watch?
We watched them play Panguitch.
Panguitch, that's right. So, well, I've done most of the talking. So, do you want to ask the next one, or do you want me to just keep asking?
You got the questions.
All right. Well, let's roll to the next one. So, I was just curious, who, from the whole time growing up to now, like, who's been your biggest inspiration for basketball to kind of push you to continue to get better and to just enjoy playing?
Yeah, it's kind of a family sport. Andy and Allie, like, they really got hooked junior high. I always got toted along to practice. When they got to high school, I had to wait till after their practice to go to my little junior high practice in the evening. So Yeah, and then our dad's a huge part of it. He's been coaching us since middle school. And so, like, we kind of just started, and then 6th grade, we had a club team my aunt had with us. I don't know if you know Sydney Patterson, but she won state last year with South Severe. And so we had a little club team with her, and 6th grade, I had to play up because they were all older than me, so I had to play in the high school division. So we played a couple AAU tournaments, and it just kind of stuck. I kind of got hooked right there on 6th grade, going into 7th grade summer, and then it just kind of snowballed. I took the off season more seriously. When I didn't practice, it bothered me. So that's kind of where it started. The inspiration, my cousins and sisters, they're really good ball players. So.
Well, I can tell by watching and the numbers that you do put up consistently. When you say in the off season you couldn't practice, it bothered you. It shows, because somebody that plays the way that you do, it's pretty obvious that there's a lot of time spent in the gym or at a basketball hoop, wherever that might be. We kind of have that issue right now with our junior high girls. We're trying to convince them that, to be better, it takes more than that hour and a half you get once or twice a week. But it doesn't surprise me to hear you say that, because, like I said, the consistency you have, it shows that there's a lot of time spent practicing, not just with the team.
The consistency you have been having, it makes sense that you've kind of been molded with your cousins, your sisters, and your parents, pushing you to be better. So it's all making sense now why you are just putting up the numbers that you do every night. So.
Well, one thing that I like is your numbers are not just in the scoring column. A lot of times when you have a top player on a team, or one of the top, some teams have 2 or 3, but you always have somebody that they only score. That's all they do. So right now, when we look that you're in the top 5 in 3 separate categories in 1A, to me that's really cool, because it means you're just a versatile player. You like to get teammates involved. You're not out there just to try to get your scoring numbers and call it a night. So I think that's really awesome that you have the ability to score when needed, and also to involve teammates and get them some baskets too. So I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and looking at your stats, you're in the steal category, you're in the assist category, you're in the rebounding category, and the points category. So yes,
so forward.
And you're shooting the best percentage on your team. Well, I guess behind Bree Torgerson, but still, it goes to show you that you are taking the game just as serious as you can probably take it.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to throw my teammates in there. It's really easy to get in there, and sometimes the scoring comes your way, but I have a lot of good teammates that if I want to play the whole game, I need to be contributing in all areas as well, because I have really good teammates that they're tough on defense, and so they make it easier.
Yeah, for sure, that does help. There was something, we'll have to come back to it. It left me. I was going to add on to that, but maybe it'll come back to me again. So this is one that Dally come up with, and I thought this was a good question too. When you have, I'm just going to use Tabby as an example, because you're the top 2 ranked teams right now. So the loss at home against Tabiona, how do you handle tough losses like that to, move on, get over it, move on, and prepare for the next game?
Yeah, not gonna lie, I can be a sore loser sometimes. That one was tough. We really wanted to get him at home, but my mom records each game. I go home and I sit down and I rewatch it. The best way for me to will point out what I could do better, what as a team we could do, but mainly just things I missed. Just learning from it helps me the best, because sometimes it's easy to blame it on yourself, or be like, dang it, it was almost there. So we really just go home, watch it, study it, and try to learn from it.
Well, I'll be honest with you, when you took that last shot, even though it was pretty deep, I was nervous until it we didn't see it going, because I was telling Dally, of any girl right now, I think that's probably the last one that you want to take this shot, because your abilities, there's a very good chance, even though it was deep, it was kind of rushed, you're one that could possibly put that in. So I was a little nervous. I'm sure the Tiger girls were a little nervous, but that's no matter how good the player is, that is a tough shot to try to. I think you had a couple of seconds to get it off. There wasn't much time. So, but
might have been able to take a step forward there to get it. I think I rushed it a little too soon. I could have had another second there, but after the game, I looked to my dad and told him, "That's on you," because when we practice, sometimes I'm practicing deep, and he's like, "You can't see that far, scoot in." But yeah, kind of wish I had that one, but I'll be ready next time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll save that one for kind of the end because we'll use that later in our podcast. So, going into a game, no matter the opponent, whether it's a top ranked team, a lower ranked team, what's the mindset you try to have going into each game to prepare yourself and your teammates?
Yeah, I really just like to focus on what the other team's going to do. It helps me stay focused on the game, and so I do my homework. I know their tendencies, whether they like man or zone. I normally know I'm going to get doubled, mentally prepare myself for that so I don't, get flustered. But yeah, I just kind of know what the other team's going to do. Like Tabiano, we knew they were going to press. Like they have a lot of girls. They have a big bench, and that he can use all of them. So just kind of knowing the personnel and like who you can do what on, who's most likely going to guard you. That's my main mindset, is just knowing what I know about the other team, control the controllables.
Right.
That helps a lot.
So it sounds like you're going into this with really a coach mindset, honestly. Just what you said is kind of how each coach tries to, prepare for a game. So it makes sense why your basketball IQ is high, because you're going at it from a coach's standpoint, really.
Mm-hmm. And I don't mean anything against your teammates here, because we know your whole team is solid. But you also know that I would dare bet most of the teams that get ready to play you guys, you're the game plan. We have to shut Van Dyke down, because I know from experience when I played, when you have a player like that, we're like, okay, we're not going to let this player beat us. It's going to have to be one of the other four or something like that. So to be able, like he said, to recognize that from a coach's standpoint, because not a lot of players can do that. We've watched games where maybe the top player of the team is being face guarded or double teamed a lot, and they almost just kind of give up. They don't really try to get the ball. They just kind of hang back and kind of get that mindset like, well, there's nothing I can do. I can't even get open type of thing. But to prepare that way as a junior, you get seniors sometimes that don't think that way. So it's pretty impressive that you can see that from both sides, both perspectives, and understand how to handle it and plan for it.
Yeah, for sure.
So is there something in your game, I'm sure there is, because everybody knows you can never be great at every aspect of the game. So what is something that you try to focus on, maybe try to get better or improve in your personal game?
For sure defense for me. I play offense really aggressive, and then sometimes I do play defense aggressively and then get myself into foul trouble. And so I just working on kind of in between, like being aggressive and not picking up those fouls, because my team is a good defensive team, and so I want to make sure I'm contributing in that area as well. So definitely keep working on that and try to get better.
Yeah. Well, and as a lot of us know, defense wins championships, not offense, right? So, I mean, if you can get better and try to more so master that skill, then I think everybody's got a better shot at the end. So.
And then, talking about defense, I don't know if you have this question down, but it kind of popped up on my head. But in your practice, who does your coach like to put on you to try and push you to be better?
We kind of just match up sometimes, but our sophomore Jenna Erickson, she guards me quite often. She's just a go-getter. She's a hustler, and so she normally guards me, and so yeah. But she's a hustler, so she gives me a hard time sometimes.
Does your coach have her try to face guard you in practice, or is it just kind of like a stand-up, straight-up man type of thing?
No, we normally just go straight-up man. Anything, yeah, we don't really practice that much, but.
Gotcha. So one of the next ones we have here is, growing up, have you ever had somebody at the pro level, whether it's NBA, WNBA, that you kind of really enjoy watching and maybe try to learn from and how they do certain things?
Yeah, for sure. I had an addiction to college basketball. The class of 2024, Caitlin Clark, Cameron Brink. I watched those guys all the time. I knew stats, games, every game I had on. even during the season, and so definitely watch them. I play a lot of post and guard mainly, so watching Cameron Brink, I don't know if you know her, but she's a really strong defensive player, blocks shots and rebounds, and so I like watching her. And then like obviously Caitlin Clark, like her court vision is unreal. Like the scoring is awesome,
Yeah.
the 3-pointer is awesome. No one's ever done that, but her court vision, that's something you can really learn from. Her ability to pass the ball is also something you haven't seen before. So those are two players I watched a lot and, still do.
Yeah, who does not like to watch Caitlin Clark? She is something else.
Mm-hmm.
I had to buy her jersey this year for my daughter. She's a huge Caitlin Clark fan, so not only the jersey, she had to have the matching shorts too. So I guess we had to go full Indiana Fever. But
That's right.
no, that's those are definitely some good players to watch. And the funny thing about Caitlin Clark, I didn't know anything about her until her junior year. So I don't know
Yeah.
if she played like that all through college, because she just started popping up everywhere. And then once you see it, you can't look away.
Yeah, me and my sister Andy, we started watching her end of freshman year. So we caught on a little sooner, but she really exploded with her game winner, and it kind of just took off from there. But she's a really good player, and it's cool to see that she chose a program that wasn't the best and still took them to a national championship.
Right.
Right.
I agree. And one thing you said about her too, the court vision. One of my favorite things in basketball when I played, and even still now, is someone that can see a pass that nobody else can, and they make the pass happen. Like when I see a good pass, I get more excited about that than I do a three or whatever else it might be. So that's my favorite part about her game. Obviously, I love the 3-point shooting. That's kind of the area that I played when I was in school. So I have a lot of love for that. But just seeing a great pass and something else is stupid. I've had people make fun of me. I love when there's a good pick set. I had the role of setting screens for my big guys to get them open, and I loved it. I remember telling my coach, that kid will run me over before he gets through my screen, but I loved it. I loved to
Yeah.
set a good screen and get someone open. So
Yeah, for sure.
let's see. We covered that one a little bit on who pushes you. So this is something that we both thought of. This is one of the questions we both thought of. I've only been to Wayne County once. I drove through. I drew the limited entry elk tag on the Boulder unit a few years back. So we drove through, and it's kind of like Tabby. There's not much there as far as right in the towns, So what do you do in the off season, or in the summers? What do you guys do to kind of keep yourself entertained? What are your outside hobbies, not basketball?
Um, so we're kind of on the outskirts of town. I live an hour away from the school.
Oh,
Yeah. So definitely not a lot to do. We're kind of in our own little world down here, but my dad has a ranch that he manages, so we're doing cows all summer. I mean, we're moving them around and stuff, but I don't get away from basketball much. Summer we're trying to do. My dad's taking us to a couple of tournaments, lots of team stuff, individual camps. Summer's really easy to get some games, so not much away from basketball, but for sure, like the ranching aspect is what I do as well.
so if you don't mind me asking, you say you're an hour from the school. In which direction? Where are you guys at?
We're past the park, so we're towards Hanksville.
Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's. Do you hunt? Does your family hunt?
Not really, no.
No. Do you guys have some prime hunting ground down there? When I came down I had never been there, but man, I loved it. And it's not a unit you can just go to because it's a limited entry. But we're trying like heck to get my wife in there because I loved it down there. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty place.
So ranching, that sounds a lot like
A
what we
lot
grew
like
up
here,
here. Yeah,
yes.
my family runs a ranch too, and we don't have. I think we have like 120-ish cattle, but yeah, it's kind of the same thing up here. There's not much to do other than ranch and play ball. So,
Yep.
um, let's see. Being Wayne High School, who would you consider one of your biggest rivals and one team that you want to beat more than anybody else?
Um, Probably I thought a little bit about this question, but then I realized it was a no-brainer. Probably Penguins. They're just so competitive. They're dominant in almost all the sports. And so like especially like this year, like our girls got up to play them. We had this very slow start, not our best half, but then we kind of turned it around and was able to get the win. But they have athletes in every sport, and so they just make it, and they're always competitive. And so just the love for the game, like, you want to get up, you want to play them, and hopefully beat them because they're a really good program.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was guessing with myself that was going to be your answer because I think a lot of people would feel that same way about Penguich. And I know more about their boys program than I do their girls, but
Yeah.
their boys have coached the same way. I mean, I've been out of school for
20 years.
20 years, 21 years, and they still coach the same way. I mean, it's tough basketball. It's, work your butt off, and I love it, and I think that's why they're so successful because they still stick to the basics and just do what you got to do to win. So
Yep, and they know how to win.
yeah, they definitely do. In fact, they 3 years in a row
Yeah,
I think they're at right now.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think boys are 3 or 4 years in a row. Lost their streak for a little bit, but they always seem to get it back.
Didn't they beat us in the championship last year in the girls? Wasn't it Penguich?
No, that was Ridge last year.
Was it? Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay. All I know is our girls have been there 4 times and they haven't won, so I forget who they play. But
Well, I think Andy, her senior year, she might have been a part of that.
Yeah, she was.
that's,
How to win.
I was gonna say that's the year Wayne won it, right? Yeah. Cool. So let's see. After, I know you still have 1 more year of high school left, but have you started thinking about post high school and what you maybe want to do as far as basketball?
Yeah, I want to continue playing. I didn't really know for sure if I wanted to continue playing, but this year I think I've kind of decided. I've kind of got the ball rolling a little bit on my profile, that kind of thing, but for sure want to go on and see how far I can take it, see how far hard work will take me. So
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea because I think you have what it takes to play at the next level. How many seniors do you guys have right now?
we have 3 seniors. Yeah,
3. And how many juniors?
2.
2. Okay, so are the 3 seniors, do they all start?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep, they're all starters.
So you'll lose 3 starters and have to. How do you feel about the younger girls coming in that's going to have to step into a starting role? Do you think they're going to be able to move right in and keep on pushing?
Yeah, I'm very confident about our younger girls. Us juniors and them, like, we played a lot of summer ball with our younger girls. Older girls weren't able to make it all the time, and so they're hustlers. Like, we have 3 sophomores that are very good, and I think our chemistry with them is good as well. So, like, kind of this year you see them a few minutes, but yeah, they're really good. So I'm pretty confident about them, which is yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That takes a little bit of pressure off knowing that you have someone that can come up to fill the shoes.
Yeah, for sure.
So off the floor, I'm assuming all you guys are probably pretty close friends. Get along pretty good, hang out when you're not playing ball, stuff like that.
Yeah. They have good chemistry. There's been a few years, girls have went at it and it's not had the best outcome. So we're all about team chemistry this year, and we've had a pretty good run at it so far. So everyone's got pretty good relationships.
That's good. I noticed in our girls' game the other day there was a little bit of tension on the floor between a couple of the girls, and you could see how it was affecting them. I mean, they were able to get over it and move on, but you could see for a minute or two there that it was not helping at all. So I think that's more important than anything. In our boys' game last night, I watched one of the Tinnick kids really screaming at a couple of his teammates like 3 or 4 different times, and I just keep thinking, man, that can't be good. That's going to make these kids not even want to really play when that's the coach's job, I guess is what I'm getting at. Let the coach handle that kind of stuff. But
And I remember that being one of the biggest things when we asked AJ's coach. He said the team chemistry is just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So that is probably one of the biggest keys to a true championship team.
And not only the chemistry with all of you girls, but to have it with your coach as well. You all seem to really enjoy playing for him. There doesn't seem to be any kind of a beef with him or anything like that. And so to have everybody on staff on board and working together, that's what's making you guys. I know you're ranked 2nd right now, but I think it's a pretty close toss-up between you and Tabiona right now. So, and I think that's why, because you're able to play together, and you're working with your coach, taking what he's telling you, and I'm sure you're learning from him every day. it's really fun to watch you guys, and I'm hoping to be able to watch a few more games. It's tough. We have so much going on here. He coaches junior high boys, I coach junior high girls. Then you've got the high school, so it's like, man, we have no time to watch these games. But
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
we do, it sure is fun.
I was also curious. Kerry Stevens, obviously your head coach, but what about Gordon Van Dyke? Is he related to you in any way?
Yeah. That's my dad.
Okay, so that is your dad. So he is involved with you through everything.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other assistant coach, is that the other Morrill
Is
girl?
that Lily's?
Yep. That's Lily's mom.
Are we saying that right? Is it Moral? Is that how you say it?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
It's more.
Okay, so, well, that goes to show you right there. They're tied in. The chemistry's there because, the coaches want pretty much success for their own kids.
So your dad is an assistant?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
He started, and he's sophomore year, so he's been in there for about 5 years.
okay. Do you feel like that maybe puts more pressure on you to have your dad as one of the coaches?
Maybe at first, but probably not. He just he's always there after practice, to get those extra shots. Sometimes I may get yelled at a little bit more, but I need it.
Yeah.
And so it's just nice to have that extra criticism and advice. He's always looking out for me. Just want me to get better. That's the goal, is to get better. And so I think it's really a plus because it's just another person to help me get better. And so I enjoy it. Some people might not like that situation, but I enjoy it.
That's cool. That's awesome that you guys can work together and not have a lot of tension.
And it sounds like you have a great relationship with your dad and your sisters as well, so that's awesome to hear.
So I asked you earlier if you had older siblings. Is it just the three of you, or do you have any younger siblings?
Yes, we have a little redhead sister. She's 6. But yeah, so just the 4 of us.
Does she play ball?
My parents have actually said that after me, they're done. She can do something else. But
funny.
she might be the tallest out of us, so
Yeah.
I bet she ends up playing ball.
Well, like we said, you're in Wayne, which is like here. I mean, what else are you gonna do, right? You may as well play, do a little ranching and play some ball. It's pretty limited. Do you play any other sports?
Freshman year, I branched out. I ran cross country and I did softball. Didn't really. I liked softball. I was first baseman, but I actually pulled out. I do online school, so I actually pulled out of school since I'm an hour away. So going up to practice without a dad, to drive. So I just do basketball now.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. That's but that keeps you pretty busy, like you said. You're doing that all in the off season too, and I don't know. I can't say it enough how much I like that out of a player, because it just shows that you actually do want to play, you care, you want to get better, you want to win. I see a lot of kids, boys and girls right now, that play, and it makes you wonder if they're there because their parents told them they're going to play basketball, because they just kind of don't seem to have the heart to want to go and win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But, well, do you have
I was just going to ask, you play Bryce Valley this coming week, you guys should handle them pretty good, but that's the kind of the mindset me and Wacey was talking about earlier. You can't go into a game thinking you're just going to beat them, right? So
yeah.
I'm sure all you guys are going to take every game serious. I see you play Valley right before your that's your last home game. And Valley's been playing pretty decent, so we're just excited to watch you girls play some more. And then obviously the state tournament, we can't wait to watch you. We're probably going to be tracking you down, I'm sure, to ask you, how your mindset is there too. But
that's one thing I was going to ask you before we ended. If you're up for it, maybe we could sit down for a minute at the state tournament and kind of talk about between now and then and what you're looking forward to at the tournament. So if that's something you're up for, maybe we can make that happen. So
yeah, sure. If it all works out, that'll be fun.
Yeah, we don't want to take away from any, because state's a big deal. So if you have a free few minutes, we'll do it. If not, no big deal. But there is one last question that I think we would like to end with. So we do a segment in this podcast. If you've watched some, maybe you've heard it, but we call it Memories on the Hardwood. We try to get other players, fans, coaches to send in some of their, one of their favorite memories, whether it's a game, a bus trip, or anything to do with basketball. So could you maybe give us one of your favorite memories, and we'll have this be one of them for that segment?
Yeah, for sure. It was last year we played Kanab. Kanab, they were top dogs. They were really good. They have a 6'4" center. So definitely trying not to get beat by 40.
Yeah.
And that game I had 10 threes, and it was my first 30-point game. So that was pretty fun. We did lose but we kept it to 20. That was our goal. And so it was pretty fun.
Well, 10 threes, that's got to put you in the record book for most threes in a game, doesn't it?
I don't know, somewhere up there. I never really got a look, but
I know I'm going to look for you because you might be a little too humble to look. I can tell by talking from you, but I'm going to look now. But I know on the boys' side, I think 10 in a game puts you, maybe it's even 9 puts you in there. So I'm going to look at that.
yeah.
Well, AJ, we really appreciate you taking the time for this, being a Sunday, and I'm sure you've got stuff going on, but I can't thank you enough.
Yes.
It's been fun, and we wish you the best of luck through the rest of the season, you and your teammates. And like he said, we're looking forward to see you guys at state, and we'll see if we can make it work to catch up then.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Really cool doing this podcast. So
yeah, cool. And hey, if you don't mind, spread the word. Let people know we're doing it.
yeah, of course.
I can. It's kind of a long podcast name, so I can send it to you in a text if you're good with that, and you can kind of let people know how to find it. It's on Spotify and YouTube. So.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Well, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you later. Good luck.
Yep. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Well, that was fun.
Just talking to her, you can just tell she's going to go places.
Yeah, I think
she is awesome.
She just has the right mindset. She's not one-sided on, like I was telling her in that one question. It's not. You can tell that she doesn't just focus on scoring. I'm sure that's a big part of it because she's able to do it. But
yeah,
just talking to her and how she feels about the other teammates. And I'll tell you what, I like the fact that she included her teammates in the conversation because sometimes people won't do that. We're interviewing her, we're talking about her game, but the fact that she says that basically it's because of her teammates.
Right.
They make things easier for her. So.
And you got to hand it to her dad. I didn't realize that was her dad that was the assistant coach.
I didn't know he was a coach. Yeah.
And for him to push the older sisters and her, it goes to show you that he loves the game as much as they do, and he wants to see his kids be as successful as they can be.
Right.
So hands out to Coach Van Dyke to be there pushing her and all of the teammates there.
Well, and it's kind of like what we've talked about before, maybe not on the podcast, just us talking. I know I've said it before. I need to be better about working with my kids.
Yes.
I work with them, and they both have, I think they both have decent potential, but I need to put in the kind of work that he's putting in so that they can be successful.
Yes. So that was AJ Van Dyke. Thank you, AJ. But now let's roll into some. I got the Des News top 5 for the girls here. I was going to roll off Tabiona Tigers. They're sitting at number 1. This is Des News, by the way. Wayne Badgers number 2. Rich Rebels number 3. Panguitch Bobcats number 4, and the Valley Buffaloes are sitting at number 5. On the boys' end, the Wayne Badgers, like I said, playing awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They're number 1. The Manila Mustangs, they're sitting at number 2, but they did lose to Rich last night, so that could switch up a few things.
They lost by more than what I was expecting.
Yes.
But there was a performance, which we'll get into, that kind of explains why that happened.
And then you got Panguitch at number 3, the Rich Rebels at number 4, and Bryce Valley at number 5. So I do have the RPI for the girls right here. Tabiona's number 1, Wayne's number 2, Panguitch number 3, Whitehorse number 4, Valley number 5, Rich Rebels number 6, Monument Valley 7, Paiute 8, Milford 9, Wendover at 10. On the boys' end of the RPI, you got Wayne, number 1, Manila, number 2, Paiute, number 3, and Paiute's been playing way good now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're clicking. Coach Jessen has got them boys
Which
playing
we knew
right.
that was going to happen. We mentioned that in one of our first episodes that he would get it going.
Panguage is at number 4, Rich is at number 5, Bryce Valley at number 6, Green River 7, Tabiona 8, Valley 9, and Tinnick at 10. And we got to watch the Tinnick Miners come up and play Tabiona on the boys' end, and what a heck of a game that was.
You know, I still can't get over the fact that the score was 2-2 at the end of the first quarter.
I know it was such slow, but there was such good defense, and a lot of them players, they almost had 10 rebounds in the first half. I think Jones had 8 in the first quarter. 7
I was going to
or
say,
8.
I think he did have 10 in the first half, but yeah, he had 7 or 8 in the first quarter.
But yeah, I mean, watching that game, it came down to the wire. Oh man,
Both games, the JV and the varsity.
But I mean, Thomas to hit let's run it back. So Jameson went in strong, got him a
We
layup
were
to
ahead by
fall.
1, right?
Yeah, so that put us up, or did it tie?
We were ahead 1 because when Jameson scored, gosh, I can't remember now. He either gave him a 1 or a 2-point lead. I can't
Either
remember.
way, the Miners had the lead, and the Tigers come down, and we were actually talking to the late coach Jerry Strevel, and he came in and said,
Late coach, you made that sound like he's passed away. The previous coach.
Previous coach, sorry. But we were talking to him, and he said, you know, you got to hand it to Coach Giants to not call a timeout there. He kind of just let the boys play.
Yeah, so that possession, that wasn't Jameson. That was, I think it was either Bigler or Jones that hit that 3 in the corner. Or, well, they tried to shoot a 3, but they was on the line. Toe was on the line.
Oh, on the JV.
No, in the varsity, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, no, yep, sorry.
Wrong game.
That was JV. My bad.
But anyways, going back to that varsity, Coach Giants did not call a timeout, and he had one. If he wanted to call it, he could have, but he let the boys play. It came around to Thomas. Thomas shot that 3 with like 4 seconds.
I think he had about 4 to 5 seconds when he shot it.
And, you know, nothing but net. That put the Tigers up. Tinnick did get that timeout, and you know, they had to heave a long one. They couldn't get it. They couldn't get it to go in the hoop, but so the Tigers ended up winning. But yeah, I mean, just a good game to be in the gym and watch.
Right.
It was awesome.
And, you know, Case did hit the 3, but Case also had, I can't remember, it was on my stat
I think
sheet.
he had 11 rebounds.
That's what I was thinking, was 11 rebounds, and I think he had 10 points. He had a double-double.
He had a double-double, I know that. But yeah, the stats aren't up on that game. Or
I do have to mention the JV game just because it was wild. And some of these younger kids, you know, they're going to be coming up into varsity next year, and so that's the game where we were ahead 2.
Yeah.
One of their players in the corner was trying to take a 3, had his foot on the line, buries it, ties up the game, and there's only 10 or so seconds left. So our boys bring it down the floor. Sam Grail takes a 3, he misses it, and out of nowhere, Ruger Hughes comes in, jumps up, grabs the ball, puts it in while in the air, does a little roll around, and drops as the clock expires. I mean, it was, you usually don't see a play like that in a JV game, but the reason I wanted to bring it up, that I thought it was really cool, is because had Ruger not given that extra effort, that little bit more push than all the other 9 players on the floor to go and get that, the game would have went to overtime, and who knows what would have happened.
Right.
Because that game was close back and forth the whole game. There was no big lead from either side. Mm-hmm. And I've been trying to preach to Brooklyn about, you know, I tell her, if you want to score, go get some offensive rebounds. Get them, put them back in. And after the game on the way home last night, I said, now do you see why I'm telling you that? Because if Ruger wouldn't have done that, we'd have had an overtime game.
Right.
But just that little more effort was key.
Yeah. And then, you know, watching the Wendover Wildcats come up and play the Tabiona girls, that ended up being a pretty good game as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, Wendover came and they were ready to play.
Yeah.
You know, the Tigers had kind of a slump there that first half. Well, first quarter, the second quarter, they finally kind of kicked it in gear. But
well, you know, and the final score doesn't really. It makes it look like it wasn't a very good game.
But it was.
It was a good game. You know, Hicks played well. She was held lower than her average as far as scoring goes. But her and Alvarez both got in some foul trouble, and so that kind of slowed everything down for Wendover.
Well, that's what gave Tabiona kind of the firepower to get back in, and when Hicks went on the bench, then it kind of allowed them. But yeah, it really was a good game till that little bit of the end. But I was impressed with Wendover's girls. But they did go to Altamont, and they must have struggled a little bit there because Altamont did end up getting them, which I was a little bit surprised on that. But I didn't watch the game, so I don't know how that happened. But, I mean, looking at Wendover, like I said, we've said it all year, they're no pushover.
Yeah.
You've got to be ready to play.
And I would be very shocked if they were not at state. I think they'll be right there, and they'll be in. Where did you say they were at in the RPI right now, their girls? Were they 10?
Let me look here. Oh, sorry, I read that. In the RPI, they are sitting at 10. Mm-hmm.
And it'll be from 9th place down, we'll have a play-in game to get in, correct?
Really looked into that.
I think I was talking to Coach Gines about it, and I think he said if I'm wrong on this, guys, I apologize, but I thought he said everybody will have a play-in game to try to make it in.
Right.
But if you lose that first one, then you don't go to Salt Lake City for the tournament.
Yeah.
So, but I would be shocked if Wendover's not at the state tournament because they are a pretty decent ball club. Like we've said in the past, if they get somebody to help Hicks out on the scoring end, whether it's Alvarez and one of the other girls, that makes them,
Or Du Bois. Yeah.
Or Du Bois, that's the other one, yeah. So if you can get all three of those girls to put up, a handful of points here, then Wendover's a much better team. And I don't think Du Bois scored very many up here in Tabby. So that's one thing that kind of hurt Wendover too. But
then we can look over to this Rich Rebel Manila Mustang boys game. I mean, this one player, we've talked about him all season. Mm-hmm. 34 points for Ridge Lundgren, and I mean, he only had 1 3-pointer from what the stats are showing.
Really?
So it shows that he was being really aggressive.
Yeah.
I mean, 34 points, we've said it before, to hit 30, I mean, you're playing extremely well. But I feel like that's nothing to Lundgren. He's showed us that since he was a sophomore, that he can score the ball. And then you had Nilsson, he had 10, Grohl had 8, Fonsback had 8, Scott with 6, Weston with 4, and Holmes with 3. But, looking at the Mustangs, they still put up some good numbers. Chowning, he had 15 with 3 3-pointers. Bear had 15 with 3 3-pointers. Goodman with 13, and Hughes with 11. So, I mean, the Mustangs, like I said, we weren't able to watch the game. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it probably was a good game. Lundgren's that type of player that if he gets rolling, he's hard to stop.
Well, and that's kind of anybody. If somebody's rolling that good to get 34 points, it's going to be hard to beat a team that night.
Right. So that kind of covers that game between the Rebels and
what about on the girls? Because the girls played too, didn't they?
I didn't look into that one, but Rich handled them pretty decently.
Did they?
Looking at the score.
You can do what you got there. I'll find that.
But the next game I was going to talk about was the boys game between the Panguitch Bobcats and the Bryce Valley Mustangs. Panguitch, they beat them 63-54. They outscored the Mustangs 16-8 in the third quarter, and then they just took control. I mean, Trenton Berga, he led the Bobcats with 17 points. And while Kobe Bentley, his performance really stood out too. He scored 13 points with 2 3-pointers, and Lopez, he was the leading scorer for the Mustangs with 14 points, and Shinoth, he contributed 13 points, including 3 threes. So, looking at that game, the Bobcats, they played well. Yeah, Berga's 11 rebounds. We know he's the top dog in rebounding in the entire state. As far as last week, I didn't confirm that this week, but I'm sure it hasn't changed a whole lot. But yeah, he's just a great ball player as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, looking at the Mustangs though, they shot the 3-ball pretty decently from what their stats look like. But yeah, I mean, Lopez, he had a good game. Shinoth had a good game, and Surratt had a great game as well. So Looking at that game, it looked like a good one too. I didn't get to watch it, but I'm sure it was a great one to be at.
I would bet so.
And then the other game I have here on the boys was Whitehorse and Monticello. And Monticello, Cash Young, man, he had a heck of a game. But yeah, Monticello, they beat him 61-52 in that Region 19 matchup. Cash Young, 25 points, 5 3-pointers. Monticello, they opened up strong, 20-10 to lead in the first quarter, maintaining control through the game. Despite a late rally by Whitehorse in the fourth quarter, Monticello held on and scored Young's 14 points. Adam Joe led Whitehorse with 22 points. Yeah, Young with 25 points, 5 3-pointers. He was definitely hot that game. Kay Young, he ended up having 14 points. Nilsson had 6. Felix had 6. Mac had 5. And Keys had 5. On Whitehorse's end, like I said, Joe, he had 22. Thomas had 11 with 1 3-pointer. Ham, he had 10 with 2 3-pointers. Black with 3 with 1 3-pointer. And then Phillips with 2. Black with 2. So, looking at that game, it was good to see Monticello get a good win right there because, since they played us, it looks like they've kind of been struggling a little bit. But it was good to see Monticello get a win against Whitehorse, which was a good game, looked like. So,
real quick, just to kind of go back, I was curious. I found Rich Girl's stats. It was a quiet night for Molly Weston. She only had 7, but she kind of maybe didn't need to score as much because I think her name is Dottie. I think it's Dottie Morse. I could be wrong. Morse, she had 14, and Pugmire had 14. So, but then there's I wonder if this. We'll have to ask Bradley because Carter Scott on the boys. This girl is Hazel Scott. I wonder if they are siblings, cousins. Anyway, she had 13 points with 3 threes. So. For Manila, Browning had 13. Castley Wall, which is their leading scorer right now, she only had 8 in that game, so she maybe a little bit of an off night. Potter with 5 and Gibson with 2, but yeah, the score was more lopsided than I kind of would have expected, 28-59. But
it goes to show you the Rebels, they're a good ball club right now.
Yeah, well, we knew they would be. Everybody knows they will be. They always compete. They always play hard. I did pull this up here too because I was curious of that Wendover and Altamont game. I don't even see Alvarez or Hicks on the stats at all.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if my
stats.
There is something missing here though because Wendover scored 23 points, and I'm only showing 13 on the stats. So I wonder if something maybe Des News doesn't have it all for some reason. But yeah, those two girls aren't even on this stat sheet right here. So I don't know what's going on there. But
and that would be a big thing too if Hicks and Alvarez ain't playing because they definitely are the heart of that Wildcat team.
But Jada Miles, she had 12. Meekum had 10, Farr 6, Bywater 6, Thacker 2, Jessen 2, Luna had 1. So several girls for the Longhorns getting on the scoreboard. I don't think they had. They had 1 3. Bywater had 1 3. But yeah, I was just curious to see what Hicks and Alvarez did, but I don't know. And maybe there's obviously some points missing because they scored 23 and there's only 13 on the stat end right there. But anyway, moving on to the one you've got next.
So I'm just doing kind of all the boys' games right now. Okay. I have, but the next boys' game I wanted to kind of look at was Valley and Panguitch, and this one I thought Valley would do a little better here, because Panguitch ended up getting them 55-31. Panguitch they beat them 38-31. Over in the first quarter. Outscoring Valley 13-5 in the fourth quarter. So and Trenton Verga, he led him with 15 points. Kobe Bentley added 9 points, including 3 3-pointers. Valley's house, he scored 10 points, making 1 3-pointer, which I know is a slow night for him because we've seen how good he can shoot the ball.
Yeah, wasn't it Bryce Valley that they beat pretty good, and he had quite a few threes?
Yeah, I think he had a lot of threes in that game, if I remember. But yeah, Berga 15 points, 8 rebounds. Ramsey with 9, 4 rebounds. C. Bentley had 9 with 3 3-pointers. Ingolstead had 8 with 7 rebounds. Anderson with 8, 2 3-pointers and 3 rebounds. Ramsey with 6 points, 2 rebounds. And then, like I said, House had 10 with only 1 3. Harris, he had 8 with 1 3. Chamberlain had 5, and H. Harris had 4. And so, it's not surprising to see the H. Harris, number 33, kind of got shut down when you got Verga down there in the paint. He's just an animal inside, I'm sure, on the defensive end. So, but I was surprised to see that House only had 1 3 in that game.
Well, and sometimes, like you and I both know, as a shooter, sometimes you just have off nights.
Yeah.
Not to steer away from your game, but just as a comparison, Jackson last night only had 1 3 and he shot several. So
Right.
Sometimes it just happens. Maybe he just, who knows, wasn't feeling it. Just couldn't get the shots to fall.
And then on this next game, Paiute beat Bryce Valley, which I thought was impressive. They scored 74 points,
Ooh.
74 to 66. Montague and Blake Leave, they each scored 23 points for Paiute. Outscored Valley 18 to 11 in the third quarter to take control. Syra and Perez, they each recorded 15 points. Rushnishanov, he added 13, including 2 3-pointers. So, but yeah, to see Montague and Gleave both there with 23 points, and like I said, they only had 1 3-pointer apiece, so they was definitely attacking the rim and different things, I'm sure. And then behind them, Myers, he had 9, Eliason 8, Mill at 6, G. Eliason had 3, and Mar had 2. Rice Valley, like I said, Surratt and Perez both with 15. Syra had 3 3-pointers. Perez had 1 3-pointer, and Shinoff had 2 3-pointers with 13 points. Gray ended up with 10, Lopez with 8, and Moreno with 4, and Roberts with 1. But yeah, I just feel like Coach Jessen, and like we said it before, I feel like he is probably one of the most respected 1A coaches, because he's been doing it a long time. He's coached so many kids out there, and from what I've heard, they all love him.
Yeah, and he's just a good coach.
So it doesn't surprise me there on that. Now I'll move over to the girls if I can find where I left off here.
That's where I'm trying to find the leading scores and stuff, and I can't figure it out.
So on the girls' end, Paiute ended up beating Valley 47 to 36. Kennedy King, man, she led Paiute with an impressive 21 points. Making 4 3-pointers. And then Valley's Andy Anderson scored 10 points. It just wasn't enough because Paiute was just playing strong in the second quarter. Outscoring Valley 20 to 10. And then Maddie Cox contributed with 8 points and 2 3-pointers for Valley. So, but yeah, you look at King, she just had a heck of a game. 4 3-pointers, 21 points. And then Westwood had 8. Randall was 6. There's 2 B Randalls, but number 14 B Randall had 6. Number 2 B Randall had 4. Morgan with 3, King with 3, and Talbot with 2. So yeah, looking at Paiute, they're getting it figured out. Their girls are really starting to click, and it's going to be exciting to watch them play the rest of their region games. And then the next girls game I was looking at, Milford ended up beating Escalante 58 to 56, so it was a good close game for them.
Does it say where that was at? Looks like Escalante. I think usually the bottom team is.
Yeah, it says played here at Escalante. Well, like I said, the Tigers went on the road and they ended up getting them by 2. Um, it, they had I believe it was Milford. They had an 18-point fourth quarter to secure the win. So McMullen, she led the Tigers with 14 points with 2 3-pointers. For Escalante, it was Frey. She recorded 12 points. Jenkins added 9 points with 3 3-pointers. Despite Escalante's strong start, Milford's late surge was got him that win. So looking at the stats there, McMullen for the Tigers had 14 points, Williams with 9, Cedello with 9, Cheney with 9, and Beebe with 8, Dalton with 5, and that was A. Dalton, and then B. Dalton had 4, and then for Escalante, Frey with 12, Jenkins with 9, Halcombe with 7, Gardner with 7, Orban with 6, Wilson with 3, Nilsson with 2, and T. Carl, I'm not sure how you say the last name, but she had 4. Carlisle, maybe you say, I'm not sure.
Where's that?
T, right here.
Yeah, I would say Carlisle.
Yeah. Either way, looking at Escalante, though, they had a lot of girls that was scoring the ball, so that's good to see in their program. They're getting everyone involved, but it was also Milford. I mean, they had a lot of scorers put up points. Not just five girls was doing it all. So I was impressed with Milford to get that win over Escalante.
I wanted to say something real quick. You said something, I don't know why it made me think of it, but it did. You mentioned a late surge in that game you was talking about before. It wasn't so much a surge, but you had said how that late surge helped him get the win. But I was thinking about Wendover the other night when they came here for the boys. And we talked about this during the broadcast when we were calling the game, but Wendover's boys, their coach, we could hear him up there pleading with his players, do not give up.
Do not give up. He wanted effort. He didn't care that the boys were down, a good amount. Mm-hmm. He didn't care. He wanted them to play as hard as they could till the buzzer rang.
And I felt like with him doing that, him, constantly reminding him, don't give up, you could see, I don't think they were giving up. I think they were just outmatched. But I could see in his players on the floor when he would tell them, do not give up, keep working, keep pushing, get up. You could just see they were responding to it. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
He's a new coach there. I think this is his first year there. And it was just, like I said, I just thought it was cool to see him, like you said, knowing they were down a fair amount of points, but just trying to tell them, hey, stick with it, because some games you're just outmatched. And, there's not much you can do about it, but to see him keep giving effort, I thought it was cool.
Well, like I said, there's a lot of coaches out there, they just sit on the bench and let the boys kind of do it. I mean, they was down, like I said, a good amount. But for him to be up like it was almost tied up, and he was just trying to bring the energy, he did not want to give up. You got to hand it to him.
I don't think he sat down the whole game.
No.
And like I said, I just thought it was cool. He's trying to get established in that program. And maybe he's been involved, I'm not sure. But as far as a head coach, trying to get his spot established there at Wendover High School. And I just wanted to say that for us, it didn't go unnoticed. And I thought it was a pretty cool deal.
Yeah. So what you got put up there?
Well, I finally found that it took me 10 minutes. But I was just trying to see where the leading scorers right now, what's changed in it. It's a lot of the same players, but there has been some movement. I'll just go maybe just the top 10.
Okay.
And this is on the girls' side. So Kiara Martin at Whitehorse is still leading right now in 1A in scoring at 27.6 a game. So her average has come down a little because she was right up there at 31 when we first started looking at these. But her three-point percentage is 43%, so most of her points are coming from three.
Right.
Cassie Wall from Manila is, I think, still in number 2. Number 2.
Yeah.
I think she was right there a week ago, and she's at 21.8 a game. And then number 3, our guest we had on today, AJ Van Dyke at Wayne, she's averaging 21.1. Her three-point percentage is 42%. But she's had some games, which we have talked about, where she's went well beyond her average.
Oh, yeah.
So, but she's been right there in that top 3 all season. Number 4 is Dakota Cly from Monument Valley at 19.2 a game. Number 5, someone you just talked about, Jaden McMullen from Milford at 17.3 a game. Millie Hicks from Wendover, 17.1 a game, and I know that Hicks is also averaging 12 rebounds a game. Maren Freestone from Monticello at number 7, averaging 16. Molly Weston from Rich, averaging 15. And Weston, I know she takes a lot of threes, but her percentage for some reason is not on here. Hannah Clark from Whitehorse is at number 9 with 13.7, and rounding out the top 10 is Phoenix Du Bois from Wendover at 13.6 a game. So that's your top 10 for your girls. Did you have, because it might take me a minute to find the boys. I struggled even finding
All right,
this.
well, while you're doing that, maybe I'll go through the upcoming schedule for the girls.
Okay.
So on Tuesday, January 20th, you got San Juan playing Whitehorse, Dove Creek's playing Monticello, Water Canyon's playing El Capitan, Escalante is playing Bryce Valley, Valley is playing Parowan, so that's going to happen on Tuesday. On Wednesday, you got Monument Valley going to play Grand County, Tinnick's going to play St. Joe. On Thursday, you got Whitehorse going to play Green River, Lund is going to play Wendover, Escalante is going to play Water Canyon, Wayne is going to play Bryce Valley, Panguitch is going to play Paiute, Valley is going to play Milford. And then on Friday, you got Whitehorse going to play Pinnacle, Altamont and Rich, Monument Valley and Escalante. And then on Saturday, you got Wendover playing Tinnick, Monument Valley playing Paiute, Cokeville will play Rich, Monticello will play Green River, Rockwell will play Escalante, and Tabiona will play Manila, and Bryce Valley will play Valley. So that's kind of your upcoming schedule for the girls.
So I think Thursday, oh crap, we both have games.
Yeah.
I was going to say we should try to watch the Panguitch and Paiute because we talked about that before. Panguitch beat them what seemed to be fairly easy, and we were both, kind of saying that might be a different story, and especially, later in the season.
I feel like it's going to definitely be a different story because Paiute's girls they're like I said, I think they're clicking now. So
yeah, I wish we could watch that, but I know you do have junior high games that day, and I do too, so we'll have to miss that one, I guess. But
did you find the boys?
Well, no, because I decided I wanted to do the rebounds while I was still on the girls.
Okay.
But I have it, so whenever you want me to go over that, I can.
Go over that right now.
So I was wrong. Millie Hicks, her average went down just a little bit. She was at 12.7, but right now in number 1 is Acacia Dalton at Milford with 11.7 rebounds a game, followed by Millie Hicks with 11.4 a game. Number 3 is Lily Torgerson at 10.4. Number 4, Jada Miles, which she's been right there in that top 5 all year. She's at 8.5 a game. I guess technically there's a tie for 4th and 5th. Right there with her is AJ Van Dyke at 8.5 rebounds a game. Number 6 is Cora Gardner from Escalante at 7.5 a game. Oakley Browning from Manila, 7.5 a game. Sophie Evans from St. Joe, 7 a game. I've seen this before, and I don't know if the name's just not on there. It says null player. I don't know what that is, but it's Monticello, 6.8 a game. Then rounding out the top 10 is Phoenix Du Bois at 6.8. So she's actually number 10 in scoring and in rebounding for the girls. So yeah, I'll go find the boys now if you want to cover maybe I'm assuming the boys' upcoming schedule.
I can do the boys' upcoming schedule. On Tuesday, Green River will play Grand County. This is going to be an awesome game where we're going to be obviously announcing this game for anyone that is going to be watching it. Duchesne's coming to Tabiona, and that's going to be a good ball game.
It was a really good one in Duchesne.
And then you got Dove Creek going to play Monticello. Whitehorse will play San Juan. On Wednesday, the 21st, Dugway will play Mount Vernon. Paiute will play Escalante. Telos will play Merritt Prep Academy. Panguitch will play Milford. Bryce Valley will play Water Canyon, and Wayne will play Valley. which I think that Wayne and Valley game could be a good one as
Where's
well.
it at?
It is... Oh, it doesn't say right there.
I bet it's Valley. Valley being on the bottom. Usually when they have them like that, the bottom team is
Wayne's at Valley, so I believe that one will probably be a really good game. On Thursday the 22nd, Whitehorse will play Green River. That's the only game on Thursday. On Friday, Paiute will play Windover. Whitehorse will play Pinnacle. Manila will play Little Snake River. Tinnick will play St. Joe. Altamont will play Rich. Wayne will play Panguitch, which that's going to be a really good game as well. I would say Wayne and Panguitch probably going to be the game of the week.
What day is that?
That one is on Friday the 23rd.
Oh, so we might watch that one.
We might have to get together on that one because I can promise you Wayne's playing really good, and I'm sure Panguitch, they've got a game plan for Wayne.
It's at Panguitch too. So.
Yeah, you know Coach Barney wants to beat them. Then you got Bryce Valley going to play Beaver. Water Canyon's going to play Valley. Telos will play Utah Military Academy. And then on Saturday, Cokeville will play Rich. Monticello will play Green River. Wendover will play Tinnick. And Taviona will play Manila. So
Rich still flirting with some out-of-state teams this deep in the season. Well, and I think, if I remember right, when I was emailing, Wayne's coach, girls, I just forgot his name.
Peterson?
No, is that his?
Sorry,
Anyway, when I was sorry, coach, I'm really blanking right now. But he was saying, I think he said they have a couple more of out-of-region games through their season too. So a few teams still playing some out-of-region games. So I did pull up the boys' top scoring right now. Number 1 is still Hagen Jamison from Tinnick at 22.5 a game. I just want to kind of hit on that a little bit. Up here the other night, he was face guarded the entire game.
Correction, it was Stevens, Coach Stevens.
That's sorry. What it is, Stevens. Sorry, Coach. We'll get it. I say this every episode. It's a good thing we're not professionals, so please bear with us. But back to this game. One of our freshmen, Sam Grail, Jackson started out on him, but Sam moved over and face guarded Jamison pretty much the entire game. He was held to 6 points. He's averaging 22.5. But I feel like I really have to say this. I want to say this because it's not something you hear very often, and I was really impressed. We were getting ready to leave, and Jamison was there. It looked like maybe his mom, maybe some family, just, giving a hug, good game, all that stuff. And he said gosh dang it, now I'm blanking. Something about he says they did their job. And one of the adults there said, yeah, they made it really hard for you. And he says, yeah, he said they knew the game plan and they did it. And I was kind of blown away for a minute because you just don't hear kids say that, Yeah. There's always somebody's like, oh, we didn't get this call or we didn't get that, but I thought that was so cool that his response was, yeah, they did their job. And I was just like, man, so I felt like that was a really maybe humble, just respectful thing to say because he understood. That told me that he didn't leave that gym thinking that, they got reffed out or something like that, because there was some missed calls, but it was on both ends of the floor. There was some calls against where I thought maybe Tinnick should have went to the free throw line and they didn't, and the same on the other end, but I just really wanted to bring that up. I don't know if Jamison listens to this or not, but if you do, man, I thought that was really, really cool of you and really stand up to just understand. Basically, without saying it, he gave credit to the defense that was played on him that night. Mm-hmm. And I've mentioned before, I remember watching one game where he was super frustrated and he walked out of the gym, and I felt like Jamison held his head pretty good for going through the type of game he did, because he struggled. He was all over on the rebounds. But as far as
he was double teamed everywhere.
He was.
Even when Sam done great face guarding, but all the Tabby Tiger players knew where he was, and if he was going anywhere with the ball, he was getting double teamed.
Right.
So.
But anyway, I just, Jamison, if you do listen to this, I just wanted to tell you I thought that was pretty stand up to have that be your response. So, And you know, he did play good on defense. He had some good steals. He had a couple of blocks, rebounds all over the place.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I just wanted to bring that up. You don't hear that very often. I thought it was pretty cool. So, moving on here, number 2, Deontay Blackmore at Water Canyon is averaging 22.1 a game. This one's new. This name has not been up here before. At number 3 from Escalante is Jackson Cottom at 20.1 a game. Number 4, Hernandez from Green River is averaging 20. Number 5 is Rocky Roads here at Tabiona at 19.6. Number 6 is Chase Friedberg. I'm assuming Gerlich. I'm not sure how you say that. 19.4 a game. Number 7, Blake Peterson down there at Wayne County for the Badgers, 19.3. At number 8 is Boston Sullivan from Milford, 18.6. Number 9, Rolando. One of these days I'm going to figure out how to say his last name, but Rolando at Green River is at 17.8 a game. And number 10 is Carter Scott at 17.4 a game, but knocking on the door is Ridge Lundgren at 17.1 in the 11 spot. So Rich has got 2, not in the top 10, but right there. And then if you don't have anything you wanted to do right now, I can get to the rebounds real quick.
Yep.
So leading rebounds still at the top has been all season Trenton Verga for Panguitch at 12.7 a game. Tristan Martinez from Wayne, 10.5 a game. Deontay Blackmore at Water Canyon is 9.7 a game. Hagen Jameson in the number 4 spot at 9.5 a game. Isaac Allred at Water Canyon in the number 5 spot at 9.4. Carter Scott from Rich at 9.2. Brody Howell from Pinnacle at 9.1. Braylon Jones from Tinnick at 9.1. Hunter Robbins from Wayne at 8.9, and Case Sorensen from Altamont at 8.9, rounding out the top 10. You know, on the other night, Braylon Jones and Hagen Jameson both wasn't at 13 rebounds apiece.
Yep.
So, and I think Jones is the one that had 10 going into halftime.
Yeah, he was.
But it seemed like him and Jameson, it's almost like they had a magnet for the ball in their hands, because, I mean, they were getting everything coming off the rim. Yeah. And in that first quarter, there were plenty of opportunities because neither team could score the ball.
No.
So that's your top 10 boys and girls in scoring and in rebounding. Few new names in there, a few changes of the names that have been there, but most of them pretty consistent in where they've been all year.
Right. Well, with that, you got a memory?
I don't, but AJ gave us hers, and you've got one sent to you. So
yeah, AJ, she told us about going to Kanab, hitting 10 threes, which she doesn't realize how many threes that is.
Yeah.
To her response, should have just said, "Yeah, I was the real deal that night." You know, because when you hit 10, that's just.
I'm going to look at that because I am curious. Because, like I said, I know on the boys 9 gets you in the books, and I'll bet you the girls is right there somewhere.
So yeah, I got a memory on the hardwood here from Miss Vera Potter. Thank you, Vera. She even typed it up for me and give it to me.
You know, I'm not surprised. She goes the extra mile and puts in the work to get it just right.
So she says, it is 2019, third day at state. Tabiona is in the semis playing the Rich Rebels. We are at the end of the third quarter with about 2 seconds left on the clock. Tabiona is up 5 and has the ball. Hayes Giles is taking the ball out by their bench. Hayes looks over to Coach and asks Coach Gines, "What is the play?" And all Coach Gines said is, "Get it into Gage." Gage was not aware of the play and was headed toward the three-point line. Gage is a center, and he usually doesn't shoot the three. No one was guarding Gage for that reason. Meanwhile, Coach Gines turned his back to pick up a clipboard and get ready for halftime. Out after the third quarter, Hayes throws it into Gage, and he catches and shoots. It banked in for 3 points, which put us up by 8 at the end of the third. The crowd is screaming. Hayes turns to Coach Gines and says, "Great play, Coach." Coach Gines then looks and asks Dallas, "What just happened?" Tabiona ended up winning that game against Rich, would put them into the championship game the next day against Panguitch. They ended up beating Panguitch and took state. I don't remember that play, but I mean, that's big, you know,
Yeah.
especially in a semi game, to kind of have a play that, I mean, I guess luck was on your side.
Well, and for those that may not know, when he's referring to Gage, it's Gage Riley.
Yeah.
Came to school from up here. He lives down in Duchesne. He came up here a year or two. So that's who he was talking about if you were confused.
Yeah, and then I need to get a memory from Hayes. I'm around him all the time, but I still haven't got a memory from him. But
I think it was when the girls played Altamont up here, Vera came and sat by me and told me about it. Or it might have been, anyway, whenever it was, she was telling me about the memory. And I thought it was so funny because I can picture in my head Coach Giles saying, give it to Gage, turning around, getting ready to set up to start the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Crowd goes nuts and he's clueless. And I can just see him turn around saying, what just happened? So I thought it was so funny. I got a kick out of that.
But yeah, with that, we just want to thank, everybody that's been listening to the podcast. It's definitely growing. We want to thank AJ. It's really a pleasure to us to get to talk to her, and we're hoping to get some more interviews in the future. We're also in the workings of getting us a new studio built. Mm-hmm. That way we can maybe bring in some of our own Tabiona Tigers where, like I said, we don't want to throw them right here on the couch between us. So,
third person cuddled up on this couch.
So we are working on a new studio. That way we can hopefully get Coach Giles and them in here and pick their brain a little bit. So,
and like Dally said, we're going to try to do more of these interviews. This is something that we've talked about off camera that we would like to do more frequently, and maybe get some of the top performers at some of these schools, boys and girls. And AJ asked me when I was texting her, what made you pick me? And I was like, I just right off the top of my head, we had just been seeing these 28, 30, 29 point games, and being in those categories. I just told her, we've noticed what you're doing, and it's impressive. And we just thought, why not just start there,
Right.
So, but like you said, huge thank you to her and for her coach for reaching out, because he's the one that I contacted, and he was able to talk to her. So thank you.
Thank you, Coach Stevens.
Coach Stevens. And he did have some words that I forgot to read. Should I go over them? Or it was basically just saying his thoughts on the season. He thinks they're kind of what we talked about with AJ. They have good chemistry. He says he believes that all of the girls on the team really do want to be champions, and the work that they put in, it goes to show. And he's pretty optimistic about the remainder of the season. So, but with that being said, I guess that's probably we didn't go much longer. I thought, because we were with AJ for about 30 minutes, so I thought maybe we'd be way over, but we're about right there. So.
But yeah, with that, guys, send us your memories, please. We want to hear them. You can send them to our email, which is
the GD1A Sports Podcast at gmail.com.
So yeah, please send in your memories. And once again, we want to thank you, AJ. It was great talking to you, and we will catch you next week.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.